Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. All three of you. Why do we have such a low audience? I mean, 10 years ago, we had 30 or 40 at the time. We've shrunk considerably, even though we've got more videos and our content is even more elaborate than before. So let's see who we have here. Joe Baca says hello. Male, 19 years, Brazil. Hello, Joe. And OCS FXM. Is that a name of a game, or what? How did you choose this? And he says hello. Hello to you as well. And Joe Baca says, I'm confused because I don't know if I enjoy my intrusive thoughts or not. When you have already dubbed it and understood that this is intrusive thought, which represents a malfunction in the signaling system of the brain to focus and bring about things that are not in line with your value, then you damn well know that you don't like it. So if you seem to be confused to think if you like it or not, it's because of the malfunction of the brain. Because the same apparatus that is creating, because of its malfunction, intrusive thoughts that are not supposed to be created, that caudate nucleus is supposed to shut it down because it knows it's not in line with your values when such thoughts show up. The same apparatus that is creating these mistake thoughts, intrusive thoughts, irrelevant thoughts, thoughts that you did not invite or welcome them, the same apparatus is going to suggest to you that you should think you like it or you don't. It's like having a gadget that is not working, and then with the same gadget that you know it's not working, you want to check the tires pressure. And when the tires pressure shows something, you say, I don't know if it's right or wrong. Well, you damn well know it's wrong because the gadget was broken to begin with, and using the same gadget to see the pressure of the tire, obviously it's going to be wrong. Whatever it says and shows is wrong. So the fact that it's suggesting to you that you may like it, that's already is out of line, not in line with your values, because it is a glitch in the brain, and the malfunction brain who is creating intrusive thoughts is also suggesting to you that you might like it. So simple. It is HOCD, nothing else. And we have, what is 321 ACSFXM says, that's my initial ACSFXM stands for foreign exchange market. Oh, okay. So you're an investor of some kind. Whoopee, guys, let's take a picture. We got 7 people here. I'm beside myself. And so, do we have any other question? Remember, guys, tonight is a super chat night. So we need your support for the channel to be able to afford advertising so we can reach more people and help more people and get recognized by YouTube, because we have over 27,000 subscribers. Yet, when we go live, instead of 100 or 200 people, we have 8. And that's a shame, especially with the kind of content that we have, which you all have attested that is second to none. So-called NJ says, hello, sir. 18 male from India. Says, I just woke up and now I'm educating myself from HOCD. I mean, about HOCD, and your video really helps. Can you please tell me why my HOCD and anxiety increases in the morning? Yeah, because that's the last thing you think about the night before. You're concerned about certain things that you have not understood. It's a glitch and malfunction of the brain. Therefore, you're taking it personally as if it has anything to do with your inclination, and it's ruining your equilibrium and your plans and your identity, which is all irrelevant and doesn't matter at all, means nothing. But you not knowing enough about HOCD, you think that it must mean something. Otherwise, why would it be in my head? Because the head, the brain, is a work in progress, and it has glitches and malfunctions. And that's the result of the malfunction. OCD and OCD subsets, HOCD being one of them. And so, for that reason, you're constantly thinking about it. And pretty much the thing that you've been thinking all day long and concerned about it, and has created some anxiety for you because of lack of knowledge, when you sleep, the first thing you wake up with is the thought that you had all yesterday or last night. So that's the reason. Otherwise, there's no any other reason or any interpretation necessary about it, and you shouldn't try to give it an interpretation at all, because it's all about HOCD, which is a OCD subset, and it is a knowing. That's all. Yes, Jawa, Baka. That's what it means, naturally. That is the obvious answer. Thomas Joseph is here. Says, so I have a question. Would you know when you are back to normal or what? Yeah, you're normal. There's nothing wrong with you. It's like saying, if I have diarrhea and I'm farting all the time, uh, when will I be back to normal? Well, you're farting. It's normal. You just know that it's a fart, rather than say, oh, it's an aroma I've always been looking for. No, it's a fart. And you know, it's a malfunction. It's a gas. So if you don't interpret it any further, that's what it is. It comes and goes. It's a fart. Brain also has farts. And the farts are in the form of intrusive thoughts, irrelevant thoughts, unwanted thoughts, due to the malfunction and glitch of a brain. So when they show up, so what? No interpretation needed. You treat it as a fart, you treat it as an intrusive, then that's the end of it. There's no need to interpret anything about it. So your knowledge will help you to rewire the brain, which you call then it's functioning as it's designed to function. And OK Lol says, male 22 from Florida. How's the hurricane going there? Are you guys safe? Is it over? Says, hello, I'm feeling better with my HOCD. However, I'm kind of struggling with the false attraction to male. Why do you think it's supposed to be called struggling? It's a malfunction. It's not your fault. is not your responsibility. It's the signaling that is gone haywire in the brain. And you need to help the brain to rewire itself through research of the scientists such as Dr. Schwartz and the 4 steps and so on, to help the brain to rewire itself to its default setting. Otherwise, there's no concern other than that's annoying, that's all. He says, I know a male can be handsome, but my brain acts like I'm attracted to him. Yeah, that's what HOCD is. I mean, why are you surprised when there is a glitch and a malfunction in the brain? You're questioning as if the malfunctioning brain is a healthy and on the default setting brain, and then you believe certain kind of a signals and certain kind of a connotation or interpretation that the brain itself is doing for you, and you're believing the brain. The fact that you know it's malfunctioning, that's the end of it. It's going to make you think that the guy is good looking to the point that you're interested in. These are all suggestions of the brain when it goes haywire. Otherwise, you're not supposed to be actually accepting the interpretation and suggestions of the brain in regards to intrusive thoughts because they've shown up and the suggestion has a certain interpretation. The suggestion is being made by the same bloody brain that is malfunctioning. So its suggestions are representing a malfunction suggestion. If you understand this, then you wouldn't be questioning these things. You actually know the brain is malfunctioning because it's falling into HOCD, OCD subsets. But when it suggests to you about something that is not in line with your values, you actually think, well, it must be coming from a healthy brain, so therefore it must have certain kind of a truth to it. No, nothing, zero, zilch. All right, that was my French way of expressing myself. All right. Yes, okay, lol. You need to do that. Thomas Joseph says, literally, I do what Dr. Schwartz and say, okay, thank you. This is not me. This is my brain. This is false brain, deceptive messages, but not matter what, it's always in the background unless I'm playing. Yeah. That is a process that is going to take to rewire the brain. It's like saying, I've been playing piano so well and I'm so proficient in it, but now that I haven't played for 2 days, then why am I still able to play good piano? Because it doesn't disappear, that programming, that autonomic respond to piano just because you didn't play 2 days or 10 days. It takes a process. The brain that is malfunctioning, just because you got to know about it and you do the 4 steps and all these things that you told me, that is not a magic pill to turn it all done as soon as you did this. It's a process that you need to keep doing it without having a meter running. Oh, I did this 5 days. How come it hasn't gone away? These are actually detrimental to the result you're looking for. You just do what needs to be done. And then eventually you will see that they have disappeared less and less and less automatically without constantly checking. Well, I did that 2 days. Why is it not gone? Why is it still there? That's already bring more attention to it. So you're actually messing up the progress you're trying to make by constantly showing focus and importance to it, by keep checking on it. So-called NJ says, Doctor, do you know how to treat I am not a doctor? I am not a doctor. Everybody remember this. I don't claim to be one. I'm a researcher. And I find research of the neuroscientists, neurosurgeons, psychologists, psychotherapists discussions about thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, philosophical thoughts, philosophical discussion and opinions, and scientific opinion based on the scientists' researches. And then I interpret them and be able to deliver it to you guys so you can understand and use it. So I appreciate the honorary doctor, but I'm not. Says, do you know how to treat depersonalization, derealization? Well, so depersonalization involves a persistent or recurring feeling of being detached from one's body or mental process, like an outside observer of one's life. Another or feeling of being detached from one's surroundings. Well, you need to talk to your psychologist, psychotherapist, but my interpretation of it is that when mind and body are separated, they have not learned to be coordinated, meaning you are not having your mind where your body is, which brings coordination of two, which is part of our lives, mind and body. Body has a place, physical place, and you can bring security to it by creating and providing a secure physical environment. So you're in your home, the door is locked, you're in good part of town, in a safe physical environment, you feel safe physically. Now, at the same time, there's a need for psychological security. Mind is also looking for security, but it doesn't find security the same way that the body feels secure, which is in secure physical environment. Mind is a virtuality, lives in a virtual world. Therefore, a safe physical environment will not cause it to find security. It finds security in order of life, in being one with the present moment where activities and things are happening as it is noticing and being part of that moment. When the brain is scattered all around because it doesn't have a place, you haven't taught the brain to have a place in the body to become mind and body coordinated, it doesn't have a place in the physical body. Therefore, it is in the virtual world and it's everywhere. Last year, 2 years from now, thinking about problems of 2 weeks ago and conjuring up some things, possibilities for future. It's all over the place. It is not where the body is to be coordinated. So it's already separated from the body. In order to help it to be united with the body so it will give it a physical anchor, it needs to know how to have a place in the body so the mind can also focus in the physical body so they will both be able to occupy the same time in space. And then mind and body are together. You are in the present moment. You're not in the past. Past is dead, doesn't exist. It's virtual. And you're not conjuring up things in the future and worrying about things that hasn't happened. It may never happen. The time that it could be happening is not even here, let alone if the topic or the activity that you're worried about might happen. So if you are able to bring your mind and body focus in the present moment, then you have a mindfulness, presence of mind. And when you have presence of mind and your body both together, then you're not looking at yourself from outside. You're actually one with life. And therefore, that coordination helps you to realize you are, as an entity, mind and body coordinated in line with the same time in the space, which is the present moment and what is happening in there. You become part of life as it's happening. Therefore, you are part of the present moment and not separated from it. Hope that helps you out. So, Thomas, you're asking a question that is like a question of, why are you asking that question? It is what it is. It happens that way. It's like saying, why do I suddenly from one day to the next, I get a diarrhea? What kind of question is that? You do. Don't get a headache. You should respond to something that is not working well. So instead of constantly asking these questions, focus on helping the brain to rewire itself rather than constantly questioning this and that. One moment, guys. Let me see what this call is about. It's just waste of time. So where was I? And Isaiah El Salvador 24 says, sir, last week you called me a pussy for being a nice, no matter what I do, woman, I am interested, are creeped out or mad at me. This is just the reality of hypergamy. Why live? What kind of a nonsense is this? Why live? That's your whole purpose, is to talk to a couple of girls, and if they don't like it, that means no girl likes you and that's the end of it? What kind of bullshit interpretation of life and life opportunities are? Is that how you see life? So small? Like, in other words, you're going to say, well, I can't find what I'm looking for in this street, so why even look for it? So that street is the whole entirety of the city or the world presentation of what you might be looking for. That's it. You conclude. You're so smart. You conclude with 5 girls, 10 girls that you don't, you talk and they're not interested, that no girl likes you. That's your conclusion. That's how you're going to fuck up the world as well too, right? Because you don't look for something, a job that you're looking for. You look for it for 2 days, was, well, I can't find it, therefore it's impossible. It's not there. That's a hasty conclusion. That's why you're not getting anywhere, because you're already defeating yourself in regards to finding a girlfriend, because you have sold it to yourself that They're all creeped out. They don't like me. They're mad at me. Go figure out what is it that you need to know about them, how you should modify your behavior or your presentation or your interaction with them. You can't just say what you do is always right, and if they're creeped out, is because they're not interested or mad at you. Maybe there is a way that you can refine your behavior and approach to them. Maybe your intention when you want to talk with them is not really intentions that they would feel safe with. You got to figure these things out rather than coming to some kind of a stupid conclusion. Why live? The fucking question is that. Your whole existence in this world means something. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You've been chosen by the higher level of wisdom and intelligence, the Almighty, to be here. Now you're concluding that because I can't find this, why live? That's your decision? Was it your decision to be in this world? It's not your decision to talk shit like this. Respect your life. Go. Go modify yourself and make a better version of yourself. Then we'll talk in a few years. You've got to work for what you're looking for. Not constantly look. If it's not given to you in silver platter, easy, then therefore, oh, it's impossible. Let's come to a conclusion. If that was the world, we would never be where we are today. Everybody would give up because everything was difficult to achieve. And Aeon says, M18, sir, can I use same strategy that I use with intrusive thoughts for the procrastination? What does it have to do with each other? You procrastinate, you don't. The moment you want to procrastinate, that's the moment you get up and you actually do it. If it's a positive thing, study or doing your chores, doing your projects, don't give a chance to procrastination. The moment you think it's supposed to be done and your laziness says, I'll do it later, don't. Cut it off. Get up. Train yourself to be a powerful, active volcano. Needs to be done, it's going to be done. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to give in to laziness. That's how you treat and train yourself. Says, sir, how can I coordinate mind and body? How can I do it? I don't understand. Well, I explained it in pretty good detail for you. In the book, Me, My Psyche, and I, in the chapters that says mind needs a home, and it elaborates and talks about how that can be achieved and what's the meaning of it is. So if you go on my site, mind@sixtruth.com, and purchase the Me, My Psyche, and I in the ebook version, it's much cheaper than the real book version. The real book version is like $80, but the ebook version is like, I don't know, $5, $6 or $8, something like that. So that'll have explanation. Otherwise, I can't explain the whole chapter here. So-called NJ says, sorry if I offended you by saying doctor. No, it didn't offend me. It's just that I don't want people to get misled and don't want to have a reputation that I'm claiming something that I'm not. And that's why I want to make sure immediately I make that correction. So, but I have a question. Can you please tell me if porn or a bad relationship in the past may be the cause of HOCD, of it because I had a really breakup twice? HOCD doesn't have specific reason. It's a glitch in the brain. It's not about these things. Maybe something psychologically could affect you, but those are all just natural doubting and comes and goes. But the actual OCD subset as HOCD is a malfunction, disorder which needs to be helped through education and then help the brain to rewire itself. So it's not really a specific disease or anything. Yeah, you can, but you don't have to keep focusing on when is it going to be permanent? When is it going to be permanent? How can a permanently get rid of HOCD? Just do what you're supposed to do by understanding and educating yourself about how HOCD functions. Then it is already cured because there is clear understanding why it's there. And it's not because of you or your inclination, your identity, or anything changing in you. It's because there is a disorder. The brain has a malfunction. And that understanding helps you not to be so bogged down about it. When is it going to be completely gone? These expectations actually slows it down. You just focus on education rather than results. And Stephen Lowe is here. Says, hello, Mehran. Stephen, male 42, Los Angeles. Says, Mehran, I have been feeling angry at times. It comes and goes because that girl didn't value me. I invested. It upsets me. She has issues. Why do you expect somebody to actually take responsibility for their lack of ability to be responsible? Why are you so hung up on that? How many times have we talked about this? Why are you still angry? What that girl's echelon and level of advancement or intelligence or class or accomplishment in life is that you actually think her affirmation or acceptance or recognition of her mistakes would make you okay with everything she's done. She's a loser, not the kind of woman that would meet your standards. So why would you expect someone whose behavior is the way it is to actually be knowledgeable about that her behavior is negative and is shortcoming of hers? Why do you care about her affirmation about you? Why you still keep giving her such high marks that her opinion about you by apologizing to you would set you free, as if she doesn't do it, then you have no value. She doesn't give you your value, you give your value. But you seem to hung up on the fact that, oh, her ass giving you value. If she comes to you, that piece of shit, with that look, comes to you, opens up for you, then you figure, oh, I must be worthy. Why? Because a shit had that opened up for you. That's exactly what translates to. Because you don't seem to give up on that. Constantly angry. Why are you angry? It's like saying a donkey kicked me in the ass and I'm angry. It's a donkey. You're not supposed to be there to be kicked. But when you do, don't expect the donkey to say, sorry, I didn't mean to kick you, but you were there, your ass was there, I kicked, What do you think? You expect so much from someone who has actually done the wrong thing, but you think the one who has done the wrong thing knows better and knows that it was wrong and should come and apologize. That's a stupidity. Stephen, that's stupidity. You're holding her responsible for your balance rather than see the life as it is and say, okay, it was a bad experience, bad judgment, bad selection, and that's what I get when I make bad selection. It's like you go buy a peach and you don't look at it, you just pick up a few, put it in a bag, and you come home, sees, well, it's actually damaged, it's soft, it's old, it's wrinkly, and it's got worms in it. And then you say, well, unless they should have told me what I'm putting in my bag, I'm mad at them. Are you mad at them? You should have opened your eyes to see what you're buying. You didn't do that about this girl, but you're mad at it because she behaved that way. Well, she's a donkey. What do you expect? That's her level. Instead of focusing on the fact what her level is, you're giving her a higher echelon and expecting her to actually act and behave based on the echelon you have given her, not her actuality, which is an idiot. So you can be mad as much as long as you want. They'll never go away because you're not taking responsibility for your lack of proper judgment. And you're actually giving an echelon to a girl to actually solve your anger issue instead of taking responsibility and knowing that you couldn't have expected anything less from that selection. That's the result. That's the answer to that. Steven says, you're right, Meron. That makes complete sense. Yeah, well, then send the super chat, goddammit. You cheap asses! Help the channel. Everybody, goddammit. Nobody pays super chat to this channel. I wonder. What the hell is wrong with you guys? Mauricio Gastelum says, been going through a rough time with the mother of my kids after separation. Are all these women the same? No. Mostly are. Says I'm not the best, but damn, they're so toxic. Yes. when it gets to the point that you're divorcing a woman and she has a child with you, they're going to be toxic because they're going to be bitter and they're going to milk you and they're going to use the kid to get control. So the best thing is to know the girl long before you decide that's the right girl to be the mother of your kid. You got to qualify the woman because what they look like is not necessarily who they are. Who they are is in their consciousness. You got to know that consciousness. That's going to take time. And the fact that you get a hard on for their legs or boobs or ass, that doesn't mean that's an evidence that she's the right girl for you. It's the right girl because you got a hard on. Well, you know, we're men. We get a hard on pretty much with any girl that's got some kind of a looker or there's something about her that turns us on. But that is not a qualification evidence for you to say, oh, then that's the right girl, because that's how we think. We get turned on by a woman, we say, oh, she's perfect. But what needs to be looked to see if she's perfect is in her head. That takes interaction to find out who is she and does she qualify or not. Otherwise, we're men. They show up, we're horny. But that is not the end of your qualification standards and goals. Steven says, unless you can start a live chat and have people to pay to join the chat somehow. Yeah, that's actually what I have asked my programmer to do, but it's been, God damn it, almost a year. It was supposed to be done in a month. He's abandoned it. And I got to find a good programmer who would be reasonable enough to not charge me that much and fix that site. And then we could have a Zoom program where people would end up paying a certain amount and up to 20 people only can show up in that Zoom meeting. They can benefit from the answers I give for other people's question and their own question. There would be enough time for everybody to ask a few questions. And then in that way, they won't have to pay the full price of private discussions on Skype, and it will become more affordable to them. And also they have to pay before they can join. In that way, the channel gets supported as well. So it'll work out fine. But we still don't have that program running because my programmer seems to be either busy or somehow abandoned the project. So I got to be looking for someone who would pick up the slack. Thomas says majority of us are broke college students. Yeah, you can say lol, but that means this channel is going to disappear because if he has no money, has no money. All right, guys. This has been 45 minutes and we've answered all the questions. Do we have any more questions? Going once? Going twice? Okay, I'll just have a little bit of a water and then you guys figure it out. I'll give you a short break and then I'll be right back and maybe we'll have more questions.
Damn, I thought she is the one. Everything was all good. She suddenly turned as if I was no longer who I was anymore. Why did she do that? Why do I feel so devastated? How can I feel better? How can I understand what is going on in my head? How can I go on? I will never fall in love again. Ah, things finally make sense. I now understand why she did what she did, and why I feel so shitty about it all, and why I miss her so much. I now know how to not miss her, and how to move on and build a better me, more confident and more aware of the role of my thoughts, consciousness, desires, fears, and ego in my relationship, and how I feel after a breakup. I got to talk to him or watch his videos on YouTube.
It may all seem like a mystery to you right now, but you can always go to my YouTube channel where you will find over 300 videos on this subject and more. You can find out exactly why you feel the way you do and why your thoughts are the way they're reacting and the role of your psyche in all this. Plus, how to feel good again, become strong and get your confidence back and ready to move on. And more importantly, how to move on. And you will certainly be fine once you know how your mind works, dear. If you still needed to talk to me one-on-one, that's always possible through my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. There you can book a Skype consultation time for us and we can chat about what's concerning you. This is what I do with all people who need it from all around the world. All right, we're back. And we have whopping 9 people here. Well, we have no more question. Steven says, no, let's see. Thomas says, I don't know how you deal with this for 1 year and a half and every day waking up knowing, because you're constantly thinking about how to deal with it rather than dealing with it. You know, you're just in awe. How could this be? Well, listen, it's a brain. It malfunctions. As simple as that. You're making a big deal out of it, Thomas. Steven says, I've decided to stay on night shift. It's not too bad because I only work 5 to 6 shifts within 2 weeks. Plus, because there's a way more girls on night shift. Cool. Now, what happened to that interview that you had? Did you decide to stay where you are? Jayon says, how can I stop repetitive thinking? Well, it's an elaborate discussion on elaborate and repetitive thinking. I think I have some video on that. The hidden reason behind doing the OCD compulsion of repetitive thinking. Maybe you want to watch this, and that could possibly be helpful to you. Instead of me going on, here's the link for that video that you might find something in regards to a question. And Viewpoint says, hey sir, I have been diagnosed by HOCD. Okay, you already know what to do. Got over 500 videos on this channel on it. And we have Dr. Schwartz's research and 4 steps, and Dr. Philipson's videos that are available on YouTube. You can watch and educate yourself. Dr. Jan Weiner, and all these scientists have spent their life to research and bring you understanding and how this thing works, and no big deal. Orlando Osuna says, good evening, Orlando Osuna, Albuquerque, New Mexico, USA. Thank you for that. I've been broken up for about 11 months now. I get flashbacks of her, and especially sexual encounters. She was a toxic person, but she accused me of that. Who gives a shit? Don't worry about what she accused you of. They all accuse you of something because they're not going to. What's the alternative? To accuse themselves. They're not going to do that. So they all want to look good. Oh, I'm perfect. I didn't do anything. He was an asshole. That's the usual response. And they find all kinds of things because they've got the ass and the boobs and the pussy, and we want them. Therefore, they're going to use that in order to make you feel guilty because they're denying you, or you actually end up breaking up with them, which automatically denies you from being able to, have access to that what, we're all interested in. So, so on that note, that is a normal thing that you're going to be hung up on her because of the sexuality thing. And you will not be thinking about how toxic she was because all you're thinking about her ass, her boobs, and what you guys were doing in bed, which was very pleasant. So naturally, it overrides the toxicity of the relationship, and you can't understand why did I actually break it off? Because at the time you could see the toxicity. But when it's broken off, the brain always goes for the pleasantry of a relationship by default. Doesn't focus on the pain and the problems. That's how the brain works. That's why we usually forget the bad things. I mean, if pain and things like that. If that wasn't the case, women who would get pregnant, they would never, ever want to get pregnant again because that pain is excruciating for giving birth. But what happens is they forget, the brain forgets about the pain. And in about a few months after the pregnancy is done, they're ready to get pregnant again because they don't remember the bad events. That's how the brain functions. That's why when a relationship breaks up, you don't focus or remember or have propensity to focus on the problems that caused the breakup. You focus on, I'm missing all the pleasantries, the sex and the kindness and the lovey-dovey and the good moments and pleasurable moments. And naturally, that's going to cloud your judgment and you can't make the right decision. You feel you're confused. What should I do? I got to try to get her back and make things work. But once you get back into it, then you will be experiencing similar challenges, because those challenges didn't go away just because you got your dick up and or or your mind were focused on the pleasantry of the relationship and not the actual problems that caused the breakup. All right. Thomas, you're going on a negative rampage. That's not going to help you. You should not focus on, oh, I'm hopeless and all these things. You should focus on the remedy, what things you should be doing, because you can simply help the brain to rewire itself. You got to believe that. You got to believe in science. You got to believe in the fact that these experts have done the work for you. Instead, you're constantly from the time I know you, you're focusing on the shit. Have you ever been hopeless? When is it going to go away? When is it going to never be like this anymore? All these is going to create the anxiety and defeat the purpose of being calm and don't give a shit, and to help to rewire the brain. So you got to change your attitude toward this. Otherwise, you're constantly focusing on the negativity of this, and that's not going to work for you. Steven says the new job was paying a lot less, so it wouldn't make sense. I'd be going good for you. Yeah. So stop looking around and focus on advancing yourself in the establishment that you're there. Orlando says, I'm 46-year-old. Thank you for that. Viewpoint says, hi, sir. I have been diagnosed by HOCD 7 months. Starting 1 month are terrible, but after 2 or 3 months, my HOCD good, but since couple days, it's coming back again. Yeah, it doesn't matter that it's coming back. Don't panic about it. Just keep doing what you were doing for the past 2-3 months, and then again, the brain reacts in the same way and eventually keeps coming back less and less and less and less. And then eventually when it does come back, you don't panic anymore because you know what it is. You don't give a shit. You keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. So stop running the meter. Stop focusing on when, why is it came back? That's what the glitch is. It's nothing, other than being annoying, nothing else is going to happen. And you won't. Says, I'm a boy, I don't want to be gay at all. You're not gay. It's a glitch of the signal system of the brain. It's got nothing to do with you changing to anything, your inclination change, your identity, none of that shit. It's a disorder. It is this disorder. That's it. Now you got to learn how to help the brain to rewire itself. That's all. Orlando says, seems like whenever a man has to set boundaries on women, these days you get accused of being toxic and controlling. Yeah, and then they add a couple of tears and suddenly everybody's, oh, she's crying, then she must be truthful. No, they cry, it doesn't matter what. So, just because they say so doesn't mean you're toxic. They just want to not to be known themselves as being toxic, so they throw it at somebody else to deflect and mislead the the attentions. That's all. Says, I feel I have a very strong emotional and sexual attachment with her. Advice. Well, don't. The fact that you know this, you just said that helps you out. Because you're aware that it's a sexual emotional attachment, not that she has actually qualified to have your attention and your interest. She's not qualified, but you have that attachment. Why? Because we all like sex. And we can't think any further than that. We only focus on the lovey-dovey and how nice they were at the occasions that we had good sex with them. So that works to our disadvantage. But knowing about it, then you can actually say, well, this is why I think the way I do, because I have emotional and sexual attachment. Thomas, it is a process. You can't expect every time you do 4 steps, suddenly things disappear. You continue doing it without constantly checking on result. Why does it come back? Oh, I did this. I did the 4 steps. You constantly are diminishing the value and effectiveness of 4 step by constantly saying, well, I did 4 step, but it's coming back. Just don't. Just keep doing what you're supposed to do. The knowledge that you've gained, use it. And then let the chips fall as they may, and then you will see the changes are happening, and then you realize that they're showing up less and less because you're not keeping tab on it so much. No. Viewpoint says, I don't have anxiety toward the thoughts. Does that make me? No, no, it doesn't at all. In fact, you're supposed to cause a way that there would be no anxiety by knowing that this is HOCD and the thoughts are dime a dozen, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day, and most of them are irrelevant to you. And you just got to understand that. The rest of it, there's no reason for anxiety. When you understand that this is HOCD, then you're not freaking out. And when you don't freak out, there's no anxiety. And if there's no anxiety, it doesn't mean that you becoming gay. It just means that you've understood the disorder. That's what it is, and that's how it behaves. That's all. Steven says, how do I rewire my brain, Mehran? You know, you spend about, an hour a week, and you pay for it on the Skype, and then I will rewire your fucking brain. Says, I had a major malfunction. You still do. Says, I hope my next girlfriend is so much better than this last one. That's up to you. It's like going to a butcher shop and getting a, steak piece and then come home and say, oh, it stinks, it's shitty. And then say, I hope my next purchase at the butcher shop will be, well, fucking smell the meat that it's giving you, look at the date, look at the color, and use your judgment to select better rather than leaving it to the butcher to pack something for you. So in other words, don't just believe whatever you see from these girls. You got to interact with them and give it enough time to know their consciousness, so you know your selection for the purpose of a relationship that you're looking for is actually justified or not. Honeyman says, sir, I'm having backdoor spikes. Oh, so big fucking deal. What does that mean? You guys freak out. Backdoor spikes. Backdoor, front door, side door. Makes no fucking difference. Don't freak yourself out with all this shit. All right. Guys, it's been 1 hour and 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and we've answered all the questions. Anchor, you're talking nonsense. You're supposed to do what the researchers have suggested so you can help rewire the brain. Otherwise, you keep believing that, oh, this ruined my life. Yeah, it's annoying. It's terribly annoying. But there are ways that you can actually rewire the brain and focus on that rather than constantly thinking that this thing is forever. How can I get rid of it? It ruined my life. Well, learn and educate yourself so it won't ruin your life. Simple as that. It's going to be challenging, but it's doable, man. Yeah, honeyman, you're fucked up. That's what it is. OCD is a doubting disease. So you will doubt yourself, you will doubt your thoughts, you will doubt doctors, you will doubt every fucking thing. And that's part of the HOCD. So don't deviate from understanding that this is all the disorder. That's called the doubting disease. French call OCD the doubting disease. All right, guys. It's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. It's been a good short or long live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. It may all seem like a mystery to you right now, but you can always go to my YouTube channel where you will find over 300 videos on this subject and more. You can find out exactly why you feel the way you do and why your thoughts are the way they're reacting and the role of your psyche in all this. Plus, how to feel good again, become strong and get your confidence back and ready to move on. And more importantly, how to move on. And you will certainly be fine once you know how your mind works, dear. If you still needed to talk to me one-on-one, that's always possible through my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. There you can book a Skype consultation time for us and we can chat about what's concerning you. This is what I do with all people who need it from all around the world.